So, I have a question. When is the last time that you allowed for something to be handled without you? Like, not handled after you planned it, explained every detail, sent 3 reminders, checked behind the person, and prepared yourself to step in at the last minute. I mean, truly handled without you, carrying the responsibility in your mind the entire time. For some of us, the answer is going to be, I can't even remember. Why are we so accustomed to being the person who remembers, organizes, fixes, follows up, checks in, keeps everything moving, that we no longer recognize how much we're carrying? Even when someone else completes the task, we are still holding the mental responsibility for making sure that it gets done. We say we want help, but we don't always know how to release control. We say we need rest, but we continue volunteering ourselves for every responsibility. We say that we're overwhelmed, but we keep allowing people to believe that we have everything under control. So today, I want to ask a more personal question. What are you afraid will happen if you stop holding everything together? Welcome to Life According to the podcast. I am your host, Cree Cole, and you're now tuned in to the Sunday LYF Check. This is a space where we have honest conversations. And today, we're talking about what happens when you have become so dependable that everyone expects you to handle everything, including you. We're going to look at why it can be difficult to accept support, why carrying everything has become part of so many women's identities, and how to begin sharing, delegating, releasing responsibilities without feeling as though everything's going to fall apart. On the previous episode, Why does support feel like a struggle? We talked about how support should reduce the weight you're carrying. We discussed the difference between availability and reliability and a couple other things. Someone can be present in your life without being dependable in every area. Someone can care about you without having the ability to give you the kind of support that you need. We also talked about communicating our needs clearly and creating routines that work with our actual lives instead of demanding that we perform perfectly for an unrealistic doggone schedule. Your action step was to complete a self-support audit. Did you do it? Did you do it? If you completed that exercise, you may have discovered that some of the pressure in your life comes from responsibilities that could have been shared. You may have noticed if you're still doing things out of habit, guilt, fear, or the belief that nobody else will handle them correctly, that's a problem. That's a problem. You may have also realized that people do not always know what you need as far as support is concerned because you have become very good at making hard things look easy. Today, we're talking about that awareness and turning it into action. A lot of women in their circles, in their lives, are considered the strong one. And don't be the first female child, oldest daughter, oldest granddaughter, oldest niece, all the things, right? Because that automatically makes you the dependable one. Whether you're all that dependable or not, You are the person people call when they need advice, encouragement, money, a ride, a solution, a connection, or someone that makes sense of the mess. And in my case, a good joke here and there, like the cut the tension. Okay, you know who needs to be checked on. You remember birthdays, appointments, deadlines, medication, school events, family plans, bills, groceries, and everything else that keeps life moving. You can walk into a situation, identify what needs to happen, and start handling it before anyone else finish discussing the problem. People admire you. They like that about you. They may tell you, I don't know what we would do without you. That sounds like appreciation, but sometimes it also reveals a problem. Why does everything depend on you? Why are you the only person expected to remember? Why does everyone else get to wait for instructions while you carry the responsibility of noticing what needs to be done? Being needed can make us feel valuable, but can constantly being needed can also leave us exhausted. Sometimes we keep holding everything together because the role has become a part of our identity. We don't simply believe we're capable, we believe our value comes from being capable for everyone else. We have become comfortable with being the helper, but uncomfortable being the person who needs the help. We know how to show up for every person, but we don't always show up for ourselves or let others show up for us. The moment someone offers support, we say, I'm good. I already got it straightened out. I already got it handled. Don't worry about me. It's easier if I just do it. Like, I could explain it to you, but that's one of my personal favorites. And sometimes doing it yourself may be easier in the moment. It may take less to complete the task if you don't have to explain it. It may feel safer to depend on yourself than risk being disappointed. You may have trusted people before, be like, okay, I'm gonna let them do it. I'm gonna let them do it. Only to have them fail to follow through when you needed them the most. Your hesitation did not come from nowhere. Don't let nobody think that you're crazy. Oh, you just like to do stuff for yourself. You just don't like to. Don't let nobody do you. Don't let nobody do you. Okay. Even though it may be true in some instances, it came from somewhere. If you correct everything people do differently, they'll stop trying. If you immediately step in whenever someone struggles, they'll continue to assume that you're going to take over. If you immediately step in and keep saying that you're fine, people will eventually believe you. Holding everything together may have helped you survive a difficult season, but survival skills are not always meant to be permanent ways of living. There comes a point when we have to ask whether the strength that once protected us is now preventing us from being supported. Capability does not equal responsibility. As in, just because I can do it, don't necessarily mean I'm the one that got to do it. The first thing I want you to understand is being capable of handling something does not automatically make you responsible. You may be the most organized person in the family. That does not mean you must organize every family event. Lean up so I can see my eyes. You may be good at resolving conflicts. That does not mean you must mediate every disagreement. You might manage money well. That doesn't mean you're responsible for rescuing everyone who refuses to manage theirs. You may be emotionally strong. That doesn't mean that you're limited or people have unlimited space for everyone else's problems. Your ability is not an open invitation for people to place responsibility in your hands. Sometimes we carry things because nobody else will volunteer. Sometimes we carry them because other people have become accustomed to us doing it. Sometimes we carry them because we don't trust anyone. They ain't gonna do it right no doggone way. And sometimes we carry them because saying no will force us to face the possibility that people value what we do more than they value who we are. And that can be difficult to admit. When being dependable has become part of your identity, stepping back can feel selfish. You may feel guilty because you know you can help. They know you can help. But I can do it and I'm responsible for doing it are two totally different statements. People you agree to carry something, or before you volunteer to carry something, pause and ask yourself, does it actually belong to me? Am I helping or am I taking over? Is this a temporary need or has this person made depending on me their permanent plan? What will I have to neglect in my own life in order to handle this? These questions are not about becoming uncaring. They're about recognizing that support should move in more than one direction. You can love people without becoming responsible for everything that they refuse to carry. You can help someone without taking ownership of their entire situation. Baby, that's not your struggle. That's not your struggle. That battle is not yours. You can be dependable without being endlessly available. You can also allow people to experience the consequences of the responsibilities they choose not to handle. When you constantly step in, fix the problem, cover the shortage, make the excuse, complete the task, you may believe that you are helping. You may believe you're helping, but sometimes you're preventing the other person from developing the skills and accountability that they need. You are carrying something that could be helping them grow. The goal isn't to stop caring. The goal is to stop confusing love with over responsibility. We're going to talk about the big T, as I like to call it. The big T. Receiving support requires trust and practice. Trust is a big word for me. Trust is a big word. Trust is a big word for me because I don't handle trust the way that a lot of other people handle trust. There are a lot of people that require people to earn their trust. I have found over time that it is a lot simpler my way. I'm not suggesting this to anybody, but it's just the way I do it. When I meet you, no matter how I meet you, male, woman, man, woman, dog, child, beast, you get 100% of my trust. I have absolutely no reason not to trust you. How much trust you keep or I keep in you is all on you. It's all on you. Just because you start off with 100, we can have 2 conversations and quickly it is at 0. That's just life. But receiving support requires trust and practice. The second point is that receiving support is a skill. It's a skill. We often talk about support as though we're all asked to do it, right? But for someone who has spent years depending primarily on herself, receiving help may feel uncomfortable. You may feel vulnerable. You may feel out of control. You may feel as though you owe the person something. You may worry about that accepting help will make you look weak, make you look incapable. You may also worry that the person will not do the things the way that you would. This is where we need to separate a different method from an unaccepted result. If you ask someone to handle dinner, dinner may not look exactly the way it would if you prepared it. But everyone is fed, the responsibility has been handled. If you delegate part of a project to a person, they may organize differently. But if the outcome meets the actual need, it may not require your correction. If someone offers to help you through a difficult time, they may not use the exact words you hope to hear, but that doesn't automatically mean their support is meaningless. Sometimes we say we want support when what we actually want is another person to duplicate what we would do to handle everything. That expectation makes support nearly impossible. Receiving support requires us to communicate what matters, release what doesn't, and allow trustworthy people room to follow through. Notice that I said trustworthy people. That means they have a track record of showing up, showing out, getting the job done, whatever that job may be. You don't have to hand important responsibilities to someone who has repeatedly shown you they are unreliable. I don't care what Aunt Bessie say about that girl 39. She should be able to do X, Y, Z. I don't care nothing about that. If she ain't never bought the macaroni to Thanksgiving dinner, give her something else. Give her something else. I make light of it, but I'm so serious. I am so serious. You don't have to share personal information with someone who has not demonstrated that they can handle it with care. You don't have to accept that help comes with manipulation, control, judgment, or hidden expectations. Gentle structure does not mean ignoring the experiences that you've had. It means creating support carefully and intentionally. You start small. Give someone one clear responsibility. Communicate that desired outcome. Set a reasonable deadline. Don't just leave it open. Set a deadline. And another thing, when you're doing this stuff, you don't have to tell them this is what you're doing. Because, child, we are in the time of oversharing. Okay? But you start small. Give someone one clear responsibility. Set a reasonable deadline. Then allow that person the opportunity to handle it. Try not to take the task back simply because they didn't complete it immediately or exactly as you would. Trust is built through patterns. Give people an opportunity to show you what they can handle, then pay attention to the results. The first step may not be allowing someone to manage something major. It may be allowing them to help with an errand, one appointment, one meal, one phone call, or one project. Something small. You're not required to go from carrying everything to trusting everybody. Okay? Baby steps. Baby steps. You can gradually build a support system based on clear communication, demonstrating reliability. I can't say reliability. And healthy boundaries. Support can also come from more than family and friends. It may come from a therapist, a coach, a mentor, support group, child care provider, a virtual assistant, a delivery service. community resources. There is no rule saying every need must be met through a personal relationship. And a lot of times, personal relationships become fractured because we are expecting too much of people who have their own lives to live. Sometimes the most dependable support system is a system you intentionally create. The third point is that releasing a responsibility is not the same as giving it up. Letting go is not the same as giving it up. Got it? Okay. Some things don't need to be delegated. They need to be discontinued. There are commitments you made during a different season of your life that no longer fit your capacity. There are roles you accepted because nobody else wanted them. There are traditions you continue because everyone expects you to continue them. There are expectations you're working hard to meet, even though no one has clearly asked you to meet them. There are also problems you keep trying to solve that were never yours to solve. When you think about making your life lighter, don't limit yourself to asking, who can help me do this? Also ask, does it still need to be done? The question can be changed everything. Maybe the family gathering doesn't need, to be elaborate this year. Maybe every request doesn't need an immediate answer. Maybe you don't need to attend every event. It's cool if you don't volunteer, right? Especially if you don't like doing it anyway. Maybe you can shorten the meeting, simplify the routine, change the deadline, buy the prepared option, or allow good enough to be enough. Maybe an adult in your life needs to manage the responsibilities that belong to them. It may mean you are finally being honest about your capacity. Releasing something doesn't mean you're lazy, selfish, or incapable. Your time and energy aren't limited. Every time you say yes to one responsibility, you are using time and energy that cannot be used somewhere else. That yes may cost you rest. It may cost you time with your family, attention to your goals, emotional peace. This is why gentle structure requires limits. A schedule is not supportive when it assumes you can say yes to everything. A relationship is not supportive when you're responsible for carrying all of the emotional weight. A system isn't supportive when it works because you continue overextending yourself. Sometimes the most supportive decision you can make is to remove something from your life instead of finding a more efficient way to keep caring. So this week, we're sharing, we're delegating, or releasing. Share, delegate, or release. Now, y'all know how this go. So I'm gonna give y'all a minute. I'm a dippity doo dah, zippity doo dah day. Give you time to get your journal, get your tablet, get your notebook, whatever it is. Get your pen, your pencil, your color pencils, whatever it is you like. Open up the note section of your phone. Whatever it is you like to do. Y'all got it? Okay, let's go. Label the first list you're gonna make. Share. Just share. These are responsibilities that should not belong to you alone. For example, My family has Thanksgiving dinner every year together. It's anywhere from 14 to 20 of us that are at dinner. We receive a list around end of October that we put our names on and volunteer to bring things off of that list or to purchase them. That's a responsibility that should not belong to one person. Y'all want to know why y'all don't have cookouts? Because y'all still trying to put the responsibility on one person. That's why. Mhm. Maybe household responsibilities needs to be divided more fairly. Maybe another family member needs to coordinate plans or check on a loved one. Maybe you need emotional support instead of continuing to process everything privately. Choose one responsibility from the list and have a clear conversation with someone who can safely share the weight. Don't simply say, I need more help. I can't do this. I need more help. Be specific. Say, I need you to take responsibility for this part. Or I need us to divide this responsibility differently. Or I don't need advice right now. I need you to listen and check on me later this week. I need you here, damn it. I need you. Second, the second list, gonna title that delegate. These are tasks that still need to be completed, but they do not require you to complete them personally. Get somebody else to do it. Okay? Get somebody else to do it. Think about work, business, home, family, and personal responsibilities. Could someone else schedule this appointment, make the phone call, prepare the document, pick up the supplies, handle the errands, or complete this project completely? If paying for support is available, this is that I make sure I deposit this here in my spirit. If paying for support is available and realistic for you, consider what could be automated, delivered, or outsourced. That's one of my August plans. That's one of my August and September plans because there's a lot of things that I have always done and that I have done in 2026 that I do not plan on being responsible for solely in 2027. I'm gonna have to delegate it some kind of way. I'm gonna have to do it. Delegation doesn't mean that you're incapable. It means you recognize that your time and energy have value. Choose one task to delegate this week. Give clear instructions. Identify what a successful outcome will look like and allow the other person to take responsibility for completing it. Okay? List 3 is release. And I love a good release, honey. These are responsibilities and expectations, habits, commitments that may no longer need to continue. Take a minute and ask yourself, am I doing this because it matters or because people expect it? Does this still serve a meaningful purpose? What would actually happen if I stop doing it? Well, go ahead. Will releasing this create a serious problem or would it simply make someone uncomfortable? Is you doing it for you? Is you doing it for them? And this is something that probably should be delegated or given to, give it to them altogether. Choose one thing you can release, simplify, postpone, or stop doing completely. It does not have to be a major commitment. You can release the expectation that your home must look perfect before someone visits. You can release the pressure to respond to every message immediately. You can release one unnecessary part of your routine. It could even be something as simple as releasing the responsibility of reminding another adult about something they are capable of reminding themselves, or a teenager, or a mate. You know what I'm saying? It could be that simple. The purpose of this exercise is not to empty your life of responsibility. It is more to make sure responsibilities you carry are intentional, appropriate, and sustainable. This month, we are talking about gentle structure because life throws us enough hard curveballs. There's no way to plan for the unexpected, but the things that we can manage, we should manage. Now, I want you to take a moment to check in with yourself. First, I want you to ask yourself, what am I currently carrying simply because people know that I will handle it? What are you carrying just because you know that people expect for you to? Second, where have I confused being capable with being responsible? As in, just because I can do it, now I've convinced myself that I'm the only person that can do it and made that my responsibility without even being asked. Make sense? 3, what kind of support is the hardest for me to receive and why? What is the hardest type of support is it for me to receive and why? 4th, what responsibility could be shared or delegated me, if I release the need to control how every detail is handled? What could you get off your plate? Or at least allow someone else the opportunity to take care of? And 5, what responsibility could be shared or delegated? Oh, I'm lying. 5, am I asking for support clearly, or am I expecting people to recognize my needs without a conversation? I.e., I'm expecting for people to look at me and be able to read my damn mind. I ain't mean to cuss. I did good all episode without cuss. But what is something that I need to request clearly rather than expecting for somebody just to see it and do it without a conversation? Hmm? And then finally, what am I ready to release because it no longer serves me, no longer fits my capacity, priorities, or current season? And be honest with yourself. Nobody's gonna know what you got on your mind but you. You may also discover that you haven't given anyone room to set up. You may discover that you're carrying too much because other people have not stepped up. Both things can be true. You may need to communicate more clearly, set a boundary, adjust an expectation, or allow someone else to experience the responsibility of following through. You don't have to change everything this week. Choose one place where you can loosen your grip and allow support to meet you. You don't have to wait until you are exhausted, overwhelmed, or falling apart before you admit that you need help. You don't have to prove your strength by carrying more than one person was ever meant to hold. You don't have to remain responsible for everything simply because you've always been the one to handle it. There is strength in knowing what you can do. There is also strength in recognizing what you should no longer do alone. The people who genuinely care about you should not only benefit from your strength, they should also make room for your needs. They should have opportunities to show up, follow through, learn, and carry their part. And when personal support is limited, you are still allowed to create systems that protect your time and reduce the pressure. Support may look like a conversation. It may look like a boundary, delegating a task, hiring help when possible. It may look like a resource you once believed you should not need. It may also look like deciding something just don't deserve space in your life anymore. You are not failing because you need support. You are not losing control because you allow trustworthy people to help. You're not giving up because you release something that no longer needs to be carried. You are building a life that does not depend on your constant exhaustion to keep functioning. I do not carry everything alone to prove that I am strong. I give myself permission to ask for help, to receive support, share responsibility, and release what no longer belongs to me. My needs matter. My capacity matters. And I am worthy of a life that does not require me to hold everything together by myself. So, ladies and some gents, what are we doing this week? What are we doing this week? We are creating a list or continuing the list to share, delegate, and release. You're going to choose one item from each list and take one practical step. Have the conversation, delegate the task, release the responsibility. If you are participating in the Empower 365 or Life Check challenges at LifeAccordingToCree.com, feel free to follow along. Platform subscribers can also access the private interactive workbooks with weekly exercises, reflection prompts, and additional space to work through the challenges more deeply. Remember, the goal is to not redesign your entire life in a day. Okay? I feel like I have to keep repeating that. I'm going to repeat that every week until y'all get that through. The goal is to stop automatically accepting every responsibility as yours. One shared responsibility, one shared task, and one release expectation can begin creating space where you can breathe. And y'all, that's it. That's it. Remember to tune into the Sunday LYF Check each and every Sunday at 7 p.m. Don't forget that Cree Said What airs on Tuesdays. Tapped in with Cree Cole airs every Thursday at 9 p.m. also. And also remember, loving yourself first isn't about being selfish. It's about loving yourself in a way that allows you to love others better. I'm Cree Cole, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday LYF Check. This week's episode, Sunday episode of Life According to Cree. And I will see you all on Tuesday. Bye.